Welcome back to FinFluenced with Technisys. Today, we have with us Dorian Hansen. She is the EVP, Chief Marketing Officer, Head of Operations and Digital Transformations at Investors Bank. Yeah, thank you, Darian, for being with us today.
Thank you.
And let us know, tell us about you, about how did you get here, about your career.
Oh, okay, so I have actually been in the financial services industry for quite some time. And I actually started out as an options clerk on a trading desk many years ago. And I like to characterize it that I've had a zigzag career in financial services. Mm-hmm. I have also worked at an insurance company for many, many years. I worked in the wealth management space and now here in the banking space. So really passionate about financial services, the ability to provide good product, good services to customers. And I have a great opportunity right now. I lead a team of folks around transforming the bank and really digitizing the experience for our customer.
And how have you seen the evolution of the industry in the last 5 years?
Oh my goodness, I would say more has happened in the last 5 years than has happened in the last 25 years. It's like hold on for the wild, wild ride. And I think about it almost like an arms race that we just have to keep staying competitive and staying relevant and constantly having a pulse on what's out in the marketplace and just being open to the change and embracing the change. And, every day it's so exciting. My family thinks like, how could banking be so interesting? And I come back and I say, you have no idea how exciting this is. Every day is different. There's so much change to embrace. And, it's exciting. It's exciting work.
What's the bank's actions to stay relevant, like you said, in that new environment?
I like to say that necessity is the mother of invention. So, people found out ways to cope, to thrive, to do their business. And, for my organization, in some ways it was fortuitous, the work that we had done in the last 2 years leading up to, the beginning of the pandemic, which in a weird way became the wind at our back. And it sort of accelerated the change that was coming, what was imminent. And over the last year, we've seen a lot of adoption of remote banking, people banking from home, people banking from their home office or their place of employment if they felt comfortable, going to a work environment or a work setting. And we saw this across the board, whether it be consumers, whether it be small businesses, or even our commercial customers. We provided a lot of technology and a lot of choice for customers to pick the way they want to bank with us. And we also saw it across all age groups, all demographics, all different parts of our footprint. We did keep our branches open throughout the pandemic. If we had branches that had drive-through functionality or ability, we kept the drive-throughs open. We also launched an online appointment form. So if somebody needed to come to a branch in person, we would arrange for that meeting. So I'm proud to say that in the New York area, the New York, New Jersey market, which, as we all know, was hit very, very hard with COVID. It was some really, really difficult times and dark days in throughout the months of the pandemic, and we stayed open. We kept our employees safe. We were able to provide services to our customers, whether it be in person, by their mobile device, their desktop, or by our call center.
And what would you say is your competitive advantage?
It's interesting. We are a regional bank. We bank in probably one of the most competitive, overbanked markets in the United States, if not the world. If you're living in New York and New Jersey, there is a bagel store or a bank on every corner. And it's very, very competitive. So people have choices, and we do not take that for granted. But what I will say, what I think is our competitive advantage is that we are big enough to have some scale, and we have budget, so we can make good technology decisions. And for the players in the fintech space, they're smart enough to recognize that, courting national banks, while that's a market and that's an opportunity, going down market and trying to bring your technology to a pricing point and an ability for a bank of our size to integrate. So a lot of our strategic partners are very, very deliberate about wanting to work with banks our size. So when I think about our ability to onboard lots of great technology, lots of cutting edge things, we can do that because we can afford it. And we have great partnership internally. We do not have silos like very, very large banks. So I just came across a very large financial institution that is also working very hard on their user experience, both their online and in branch. And they have two separate teams working on those initiatives. And as a result, the experience for the customer online versus what's in branch is not connected. So it is not truly omni-channel. And we are in the throes of delivering that omni-channel experience, but doing it with the same teams. So there is alignment around what does that architecture look like? Two, what does the choreography look like, whether it be in branch or on someone's mobile device? So our competitive advantage is we can afford the technology, we can onboard it very, very quickly because we're nimble, and because we all can play nicely in the sandbox in a company our size. We don't have the social issues or the political issues around, who owns what. We're very, very collaborative. And, the more I work with the teams I work with here at the bank, the more fortunate I feel that we can align on a shared vision, and we can move very quickly as a result of that.
We've been talking about the customer experience, a coherent customer experience across all the channels, technology that is able to serve all the channels, seamlessly, and the customer can choose which way they want to do banking. And also the ability for the bank to respond faster and create tailored offers to the banks. Are you on that path of tailor products for your customers?
Yeah. So we can get out of our own way. To the point of I think about the social issues around collaborating and working well together. And what I tell our teams is nothing is more frustrating if you think about it. You go home and you turn on your TV and the remote control doesn't have batteries in it, or the batteries are old, right? It's not working. So how do we make sure that all the technology that we have in the bank is actually working, and nobody has to pick it up and say, oh, there's no batteries in this? Or worse, you go to another remote control, you take the batteries out of that one, you put it in this one, and now you have a broken one in another room. So when I think about making sure that all the technology is working well, it's all optimized, meaning the trains are running on time, then it is a lot easier to be very deliberate about what solutions you offer up to customers. Not, oh, we want to wake up on a Monday and sell something, and it makes sense for us as the financial institution. How about thinking about what makes sense for the customer, the timing in their life, what life events, what is going on in our customers' lives that we should be clever and thoughtful to offer up a solution at the time in that customer's life when it makes sense for them. And that's kind of turning it upside down in the way that I grew up in this industry, which was, oh, let's get in a room and come up with a marketing campaign. Because what? It makes sense for us. We thought of it. And then what? Customers are just waiting for us to call them? No, that's not how it works, right? So those life events, the things that are happening in people's lives, we have to be really attuned to that and serve up a solution at the moment in time when it works for the customer.
You mentioned several times, about the technology that we can afford. How do you fund your
Mm.
your digital initiatives or the technology behind the digital initiatives, why you can afford.
Why we can afford it. So I always think about a technology decision or a purchase. If I'm going to bring something into the organization and it's going, what's the hopeful outcome or the expected outcome? Is it going to make something easier, faster? Is it going to bring an experience or a product that didn't exist before? And if we're going to do that, where is the cost takeout? What's going to stop being done at the bank as a result of this new technology? So I always like to say to my bosses, I will always bring you the P, the profit, and never the L, the loss. So everything that we do is very, very thoughtful around where is there a cost takeout? Where can we re-engineer a process? Where can we stop doing something that now maybe seems silly or just not necessary anymore? And having been in the industry for a while, I've seen where technology is onboarded and then a couple of things can happen. Either the technology isn't optimized and it sits there and it's not used to its full potential. So the organization isn't getting the benefit to offset that cost, right? Or they bring the technology in, they're using it, but they never get rid of the manual processes or they never change the underlying way something gets done. So I am very, very focused on how do I optimize everything that we have in-house. And I'll use myself as an example. I have this fabulous new iPhone 12, which I love this phone. And all I do with this phone is text my family. And I also take pictures of my mini golden doodles. So I am not optimizing the power of the phone. Yet I promise you, I do not do that in my work life. I am very, very focused on all the power of what I buy, what we buy as an organization, and making sure it's turned on. I think about, technology companies trying to come to market with something that smaller banks can afford, they can ingest. And
Yes.
I think that, it's become very competitive. And I think there are a lot of choices out there. And I think that's been banks my size and smaller are going to be the beneficiary of that. Because I used to think, oh my gosh, if you don't have, a gazillion billion dollars like JP Morgan Chase, they're going to all eat our lunch. And it's not true. It's not true. We can offer exactly what JP Morgan Chase has.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
In many cases, we can bring it faster.
And also, about the processes. If you think that the processes can be changed, that the silos can be erased, the divisions between the silos can be faded away. I think that's an enormous, step towards that, because the problem is the biggest banks can't deal with the silos. They have a lot of money, but they have a lot of silos.
That's right. About 2.5 years ago, and it's just a team of smart people, that we basically lock in a room and say, do not be wedded to anything that's been, don't be wedded to the way you do things. Nothing. Okay, whiteboard, truly. And reimagine what banking can be. And, that in the beginning, people were like, well, who do they think they are? And why are they the chosen few? And what makes them so special? And, I was like, look, you want to get in on the Innovation Station team, then be curious, be open to change. You got to be able to be on a team. You got to play nicely. And, over time, that team has grown because, I call them the cool kids, and they're not necessarily all young. It's just a mindset, right? It's a group of people that want to change, want to transform, want to be part of something. Look, it's banking, okay. We're not racing to find the vaccine to cure COVID, but we are doing important work. And do you want to be part of something that you're changing an industry? And those are the types of people we attract.
And that's a great way to let everybody know that change is the normal.
Yes.
Because you created a team that basically works for change. So everybody should expect change after that.
Right.
So,
right.
So
the only constant in life is change.
Well, to wrap up, because you left us with a lot of great concepts, and
thank you.
Yes. What would be the number one piece of advice that you have for banks that want to embrace the digital transformation?
Right. So my advice is really more about use your common sense meter. Like, does it make sense? Does it feel right? Go with your gut, go with your instincts. I did not grow up as a technologist. I am not a person who went to school for computers or programming. Not anything that I ever had a thought about or focused on, either in school or throughout my career. But I think I've been keen on understanding the environment around me and what's changing and paying attention. So when I can speak to people about lots of different types of technology, lots of concepts, but if it takes a really long time to explain it to somebody, so something is probably not right. So to think about, have confidence in yourself that if you don't know the answer, ask, I don't understand what you're saying. This doesn't make sense to me. And just recognize that you are, it may not be your area of expertise, but what you do have, what your strength is right, that you are a consumer. You run your household. You have a family. You have things that you do in your life and you do it really well. So just take that common sense, practical approach to this and have it make sense. And nobody has to be afraid.
But it's the second time that someone says, you need to, one of the things that you need to do is to stop doing things, to stop doing things that doesn't make sense or that are no longer valid for the business.
I'll give you an example of something. Yeah, so we mobile deposit capture, right? So the technology, so people can take a picture of their check. So a group of individuals at this bank, that every check that was deposited on a phone was being physically reviewed by a person.
That is the way, and again, it's the second time and it caught my attention because it's, what is the advice? Well, stop doing things. Okay. That you may have processes that are too old for what the customer is doing right now. Dorian, really appreciate your contribution and your thoughts, and well, thank you very much for this.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about something I'm very passionate about, and all I can say is just watch my organization. We have a lot of great stuff going on here at the bank, and we're going to take it next level. We are going to take it next level because we're nimble. We actually all get along really well, and we have a sense of humor about it. And if we make a mistake, it's a fast fail, we say, so what? Now what? We pick ourselves up and we keep going. So thank you.
That's the way. Great. Thank you.